Hello, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Frank Silberlicht. I'm the camp director, and I'm very glad you're here. I was at a camper at CYJ. Best thing my parents ever did for me. I'm so thrilled that my children attend. It's the only environment they are in that is 100% Jewish from morning until night. And that's just from one of our parents. A little bit about myself. This is my 21st year being camp director. When I started, I have to admit, it was supposed to be a 2 or 3 year gig. And when you love something, you continue to do it. I live in Houston. I'm part of the community. Part of that, I worked for Camp Tel Yehuda, Taco Bell Corporation, and Trails End Camp. My degree is in hotel restaurant management. And the truth is, I found serving a steak or a burger to someone very unfulfilling. And to me, working at camp is one of the greatest places. Now, why summer camp? Well, first, let me tell you about Charles Eliot. He's a former president of Harvard University, and he wrote this back in 1922. I have a conviction that a few weeks spent in a well-organized summer camp may be of more value educationally than a whole year of formal schoolwork. That's what the president of Harvard University said. But any camp your child goes to, they should make lifelong friendships. When you live with someone, living 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with someone, you build extreme friendships. So these are the lifelong friendships people will have. They develop independence. They really get that sense of independence as parents. And I'm a parent of 3 kids from 8 years old up to 15. I see even my own kids becoming more independent at camp. The third item, unplugging from electronics, face-to-face interactions. 10 years ago, I might have not said how great being technology-free is, but I have to tell you that it's crucial. Youngsters now spend an average of 1 hour and 50 minutes online and 2 hours and 40 minutes in front of a television every day. That's over 4 hours a day more in front of a screen. And that's more than they exercise in a week. Now, teenagers are 39% of teens will make voice calls. The rest will only engage through social media or other items. You know, basically 52 out of 70 possible hours a week is spent in the cocoon of technology. Now, even though we're more connected with technology, we actually face higher incidence of depression and isolation. So the irony is technology is creating a dynamic and evolving world that it's eroding at the same time. Summer camp, we're active and kids have fun. Now, Jewish camp, why is so important? Well, one, you know, the environment, it's a community that everyone's living in. They walk out with a strong sense of Jewish identity. All our bunk counselors are Jewish. All the kids in camp are Jewish, so they build on each other, and they come from different observation levels, and they learn from each other. Children with moving and pivotal Jewish experiences are more likely to become adults who value and feel pride in their Jewish heritage. And those that go to Jewish camp are more likely to support Jewish causes, take on leadership roles in the communities. And give you an example, Jewish camp alumni are 50% more likely to join a synagogue, 90% more likely to join a JCC, and twice as likely to give to their local federation than someone that did not go to Jewish camp. And for Young Today alumni, there's a 91% chance they're going to marry another Jew, according to the Young Today alumni survey. Now, I'll say this at them, but I want to say it now. Quite simply, if you want your child to have a Jewish background, they need a Jewish playground, and that's CYJ. You can see we're Jewish, we're challenging, we're outdoors, we're low tech, we're busy, we're diverse and inclusive and safe. A little bit about the location of camp. It's in the Texas Hill Country. We're about 45 minutes from Austin, an hour from San Antonio, and we're just outside the village of Wimberley in the city of Wood Creek. And you're looking at a picture of one of our buildings at night. It's absolutely stunning. And to give you a map view, we're 3 hours from Houston, 4 hours from Dallas, and 5 hours from the Valley. So we're very centrally located. In the Texas Hill Country, it's this beautiful area of the country, of Texas. Now our campers were we're pluralistic, and so that means we have Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, Reconstructionists, unaffiliated. So it's a neat thing because kids talk about their Judaism and they share and they learn from each other, and it's a great way to learn. So having a mixture of kids from all different denominations or those that are unaffiliated is really helpful. Most of the kids come from Houston, then Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio. But we do get kids from other states and countries. Most of the people coming from other states will come during second session. That's because of school dates. Israel, Mexico, and other South American, Central American countries will get. We have a nice sized contingency from Florida and from California. And we're finding that kids, their parents that are alumni at camp, no matter where they're living, they're starting to send their kids back to camp, back to Texas. Let's talk about our programs. So our core program is 22 days long. So we divide it by age groups. So Ophrim, for example, is third graders only, and that's entering third grade. So entering next year into third grade. So if your child's a current second grader now, then Ophrim is the correct group for them. We found 22 days. Camp starts on a Sunday and ends on a Monday. We find that to be the perfect time period for kids. But we do also, and we go all the way through 8th grade in our core programs. Each grade, its own group. Each group has anywhere from 24 to 45 to 48 campers. And the average is around 40 campers. Now we do start out with some short-term programs. We have Nitzanim. It's a 9-day program for either entering second or third graders, and it's really a taste of camp, kind of like a survey, class survey, orientation. So it's really oriented to camp. So a very short program. And then new, we have something last year we started highly successful. It's Mini Mensch. It's a 3-day program that starts on a Friday, ends on a Sunday. So the idea is you take your child, drop them off camp Friday, you go to a bed and breakfast in the Wimberley area, and there's tons and lots of good ones. And then you come back on Sunday and pick them up and hear all about the weekend. Last summer, we had 22 mini menches of the 22, 16 registered early. So it's highly successful. We also have team programs. We have Segel, which is a travel program. They travel from Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. They learn leadership, teamwork, and identity. The first week they're in camp, then they travel, and then they're back for a few days in camp. And they'll go to places you and I probably will never get to because there's not airports close. So once again, they're in Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. And then our senior camp experiences after Segel's entering 9th, and we have entering 10th, which is leadership year 1. Basically, they learn to work behind the scenes at camp. They understand what it means to be part of a community, and they understand what their role in the community is. And then the next year, this year 2, is a focus on the global Jewish community. They'll take a 2-week international trip to visit a Jewish community. Right now we have it slated to be Costa Rica. And then in 12th grade, year 3, they'll live in the bunk, and it's similar to a counselor and training program. So those are our teenage experiences from 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now, the success at camp hinges on 2 factors. We have nice facilities, we have great programs, but it really comes down to two things. And it's in the bunk, and it's a relationship between your camper, your child, and his or her counselors, and the relationship between the campers themselves. Those are the two deciding points about kids coming back or not. That makes the most difference. So what we try and do, we try and hire an older staff with the assumption that generally older will be a little bit more experienced and better decision making. So all our staff are high school graduates or older. Most are past CYJ campers. We have many, mostly Americans, but we have Israelis. I go to Israel every year. I hire about 10 to 12 Israelis to come in, for the kids. And then we have Mexicans, and most of the Mexicans are actually former campers, Brits and more. They're responsible, they're trained, and our staff are Jewish role models and educators. Very different, and this is a differentiation point between CYJ and other camps. Other camps or counselors are what I would call shepherds. They bring kids from activity to activity. At CYJ, we expect counselors to role model. So if they're going to soccer, the staff will play soccer with them. They will not sit on the side, because if they sit on the side, then the kids will want to sit on the side. So we expect them to role model and take part in the whole program. Now, take you through our staffing process. Before we hire anyone, they fill out an application. For all new staff, they have to have three references. They do an interview with myself or assistant director, and then we do a background check. Our background check is a social security trace to make sure who they are, a county criminal check, and then there's a national pedophile database. So we do all those things. Then 2 weeks prior to camp starting, we have head staff week. And that's where all the supervisors are trained. The supervisors supervise the counselors. And then we also, during that head staff week, we train lifeguards and we train ropes course staff. We do not outsource those. We believe in training them and supervising them. Then 1 week prior to camp starting, the rest of the staff arrive. And in that time period, we're training them for their roles. Different staff, so Merxine, those are unit heads. Each group, so I told you groups average size 40, they're led by one unit head and multiple counselors. Every bunk will have at least 2 full-time counselors and generally a third counselor in it. So almost every unit will have 6 counselors minimum, up to between 6, up to 12 or 15 counselors, depending how big the unit is. In-bunk specialists are counselors that live in the bunks, but during the day, they're at their specialty areas. It could be ropes course, waterfront, arts and crafts, sports, those kind of things. We do have a counselor and training program, which would be a 12th grader, and they do live in the bunk as well. One of the unique things is we have camper care. And camper care is the front line to help the staff. Train the trainer approach. So the camper care will work with the staff to help them if they have any problems. The camper care, and we call them camp moms, will be on the phone with parents. So if you call and you have a question, you want to know how your child's doing, the camp mom will get the message. The mom will observe your child. They'll talk to the counselors, talk to the unit head. And if it's not needed, they won't talk to your child. They'll call you back and give you an update, or they might talk to your child just generally, hey, how's it going? Are you having fun? But they're not going to say, oh, your mom called and wants to know how you're doing. So anyway, so we'll call you back and give you real-time information. And the camper care, they're moms that they understand children and how we can best help them. Now let's talk about healthcare. Our healthcare consists of 2 nurses, 2 medical assistants, and a part-time doctor in camp. Generally, 70% of the time we have a doctor. If the doctor's not there, we have a EMS, emergency medical services, within 10 minutes away. We can get an ambulance. A hospital's 30 minutes away. And in town, we have doctors available and dentists as well. So we have plenty of healthcare options. All right, let's talk about our facilities because we do have one of the most modern camp facilities in the country, probably in the top 10 in the country. We have all our facilities indoors are air conditioned. The waterfront includes a slide into the lake, and the pools have 2 water slides in it. Our kitchen's fully kosher, so there are actually 2 kitchens, a dedicated art room, high and low ropes courses, and 2 different sports pavilions. Now the camper cabins have 10 to 16 campers and up to 4 staff members. All the cabins have indoor bathrooms. The bathrooms have at least 3 sinks, 2 toilets, and 2 showers, with the newer cabins actually having 3 showers in them. All the beds are wooden beds. The mattresses are plastic sealed mattresses. And as you can see in the picture, that the bunk beds have safety railings on it. Now, our kitchen, I mentioned, is kosher. But one of the neat things, we are a retreat center during the year. So we rent out the camp during the year. So we have a full-time staff of 14 people. So I have 3 full-time kitchen cooks who are there year-round. So they're not figuring out what to do right when the summer begins. They're used to serving all year long. So our food's actually quite good. And we cook now for gluten-free, dairy-free, vegetarian, vegan, you know, you name it, celiac, there's so many different needs. This gives you a sample of our meals. Generally, our breakfast will have eggs every morning with a hot dish, whether it's French toast, pancakes, waffles, breakfast tacos, those kind of things. There's always a fresh fruit yogurt bar and granola. There's always milk for breakfast, cereals, orange juice. Lunch is generally a meat meal. We serve water at lunch, and we'll always have a salad bar. We always have fruit, plain pasta, and we do not use peanut butter, we use some butter. And dinner's generally a dairy meal, except for on Friday night. And dinners, we'll also have a salad bar as well. So the meals are pretty good. You know, the kids are very happy with meals at camp. Is it gourmet? No. As a staff member, I do get tired of it, but the food is pretty good. Let's talk about the day in the life. The day in life, or the menu, or the schedule of camp. Each day, your children will go to the pool or the lake. They'll swim in one of those. They get 3 electives, and they'll have programming that is done by group and bunk. And then there'll be an hour of free time. So the importance of the schedule, the morning is elective. So the kids will choose when they get to camp, there's 3 electives, and they can switch each elective each week. So if they're there for 22 days, they will get 9 different electives. Now, some of the electives, like our Premier Sports League, you would stay in that elective the whole time period. But people can switch out if they want to. The nice thing is we also, after the first day, we want everyone to go once, we allow them to switch if it was not for them. So your child can try a lot of different things, and that's the neat part of camp, the experimentation, maybe finding new loves. Then in the morning, there's also a Nikayon, which is a cleanup time where they go back to their cabins, they'll clean up their cabins, they have to make their beds. And once again, our staff make their beds, because that's part of being a role model and part of being an example. There's a work wheel, and one of the kids is in charge each day, and each person's assigned based upon the work wheel. Someone sweeps, someone cleans up in front of the bunk. So they all get jobs that they do, and the bunk gets inspected. And there's a reward system for the bunks that are the cleanest. In the afternoon, and then there's a Judaic time period, where there'll be prayers, there'll be Israel education, singing, dancing, Israel updates. So there'll be one time period each morning where each group will go to something different. In the afternoon, after lunch, there's a rest hour. After rest hour, there'll be a couple of activities. In the afternoon, one of them will be the pool, another will be sports, arts, ropes course, drama, those kind of things. And then there'll be a bunk time where as a bunk, the kids and the counselors will make the decisions what to do. So it's based upon the bunk's interest, and they'll do that together. And then finally, there's a free period where for an hour where the counselors and kids can be wherever they want within geographical areas and to do what activities they want in those areas. Now the waterfront, you can see all the different choices there are. A lot of things going on. The ropes course, we have two different kinds of ropes courses, low and high. Low ropes course are usually group bonding things, teamwork, building. If we have a bunk of kids who are not getting along so well, they can work together and it helps them with communications and understanding each other. So we'll use the ropes course for that. The high course is really individual achievement, and we call it challenge by choice because at camp, we don't define success as of you, for example, on a climbing wall, climbing to the top of the wall. We define success based upon you going beyond what you expect you could do. So if someone only climbs up 5 feet and they thought they couldn't even do it, that's a success. But the nice thing, they could come back the next day and even do further. We also have outdoor adventure. We have 250 acres in camp, so there's lots of space for camping, hiking, those kind of things. Tons of different arts activities. And sports, you name it. And we're building, I mentioned there was a second pavilion. We're building a 17,000 square foot pavilion for this summer. This is our latest initiative from last year, the Premier League. We have 4 teams, and they compete almost every day in games, and they're kept score, and the kids loved it last year. And you can see part of our educational value, Eilat Eagles, Ashkelon Kings, Ramat Gan Rams, Netanya Knights, that we're bringing Hebrew words, and the kids will learn from that. Now, we'll throw out the schedule sometimes and do something unique. So we'll have a Maccabia. It's a color war for a whole day where the kids don't know when it's going to happen. It's a surprise, and then it's this big surprise breakout that it happens, and they'll break up into 4 teams, and it's a huge day of fun. We'll do an Erev Kaf where one night, which means a fun evening activity, fun night, where usually some sort of themed dinner and a carnival. We'll have a banquet with camp ending on a Monday. Sunday night before they leave, there'll be a banquet, a very fancy banquet that they go to. There's trips. Teal means trips. Each group will go on a trip out of camp to different locations, and they get more complex and better as they get older. And Shabbat. Shabbat is the day that happens each week, and the whole camp builds up to that week. Most people look forward to Shabbat, and it's a day where we change our schedule completely. It's more relaxed, but it's also a very different day. The kids have activities all day long. They have extra pool time. They have an extra rest hour, but it becomes a very traditional experience that the kids look forward to. Now let's talk about this summer. In 2019, in our 3-week programs, you can see the tuition and the dates. First session is June 16th, July 8th. So once again, it starts on a Sunday, ends on a Monday. Session 2, July 14th, August 5th, start on Sunday, ending on a Monday. The tuition is as listed. It's $4,400. The more expensive one, Segel's, the travel one, for $5,500, and CIT programs $1,800. Now in the short-term program, Mini Mensch is $250 for the weekend, and Nitzanim A and B runs twice each session, so you can see the different dates that you have. Now, before camp, if you would like to come experience CYJ, we have retreats. So we have first our Taste of Camp. So it's called Camp the Night Away on January 20th, 21st. You could just come up for the day, or you can stay the night, and it's a tour with our staff and some activities, and it's lots of fun. Then there's spring camp, and that's for the whole family. Then there's spring camp, which is March 1st through 3rd. That is just for the kids. We'll have buses leaving from Dallas and Houston. And Austin and San Antonio are close enough. Parents can drop off. And it's a weekend Shabbaton together. It's a very nice taste of camp. And then we also have retreats. We have family camp, which happened November 2nd to 4th. We have Passover camp, April 25th to 28th. Now, please feel free to contact us. I think we're great communicators. So you can contact us, info@CYJ Texas. Call us on the phone. We actually answer phones. Or go to our website to learn more. In regards to camp tuition and signing up, it's a rolling basis. We're about 80% full, usually by September 1st. So it's a first come, first serve. Once you register, it's a $500 deposit. And then you either pay in full or you can make monthly payments through May, prorated through May. If you cancel for any reason, the full $500 is completely refundable up to March 1st. After March 1st, you would lose the deposit $500. And then after May 1st, there's no refunds and you would lose any money. So the nice thing is, if you think you may want to go to camp, you can sign up and know that you have till March 1st to make a decision. Because some of us may not know what our vacation plans are, or there's other things to put in place. So we're very flexible like that, because generally we'll have waiting lists. So if someone cancels March 1st, we can fill that spot. So I hope you enjoyed yourself, learned a little bit about CYJ, and come join us. It's an experience of a lifetime. It makes a difference for our children. And once again, I started this webinar, and let me finish it saying, if you would like your child to have a Jewish background, give them a Jewish playground. And that's CYJ. Thank you for your time.